Tucked away in the low-rolling green hills near Birmingham, Alabama, is one of the newest and most impressive public bonsai collections in the United States, that of the Aldridge Botanical Gardens. Situated on the picturesque property of the late Eddie Aldridge, the Botanical Gardens is a natural sanctuary of native southern plants, rolling streams, and of course the spectacular bonsai collection, set against the backdrop of a small lake. The bonsai garden at Aldridge was given in memory of Dr. Craig Allen Meyer, an avid bonsai enthusiast and patron of the art, and the trees on display are all donated from the private collection of Jim McLean.
I'm Jim McLean. I started bonsai in about 2000. Obviously fell in love with it and just couldn't stop. My wife was an ophthalmologist that had Eddie Aldridge as a patient, and I met him, and his interest was to start bonsai in the gardens. So we helped him integrate bonsai into his garden.
Every few weeks, Jim and his crew switch out the bonsai on display at Aldridge, providing visitors with an ever-changing array of species, styles, and sizes from which to learn and enjoy the art. Each day, the bonsai are cared for by bonsai professional John Walker, who waters, prunes, and maintains the collection, as well as answers questions presented by the public as they peruse the display.
My name is John Walker. I take care of the trees over here at Aldridge Botanical Gardens. So the collection here is mainly to just get everybody excited about bonsai. I think just coming to see really nice trees inspires a lot of people. So we water once a day, obviously. We trim the shoots here. We try and keep them good looking for the gardens, and then we rotate them out every maybe 2 months, take them back to their other place so we can defoliate and do more trimming, stuff like that. That way we have nice looking trees year round here, and not just defoliated trees as well. So I'm just thinning out some of the leaves just to get a little bit more light in here. So usually we start around probably May. Maybe a little bit before May is when we start defoliating tridents and Japanese maples. So we actually have a group that meets here. We have monthly workshops, so people bring their trees if they need help with it, or if they don't have trees to work on, we can provide trees, or they can come help us with these trees. So this is the education building where we have bonsai workshops once a month. They also use it for other classes, all different kinds on their website. You can sign up for tons of classes.
John and Jim are meticulous about the care given to the trees, both at the Aldridge Botanical Gardens and back home in Jim's private collection. Jim was kind enough to open the doors to his personal garden and explain the background of some of his bonsai, which will, in due time, certainly be on display at Aldridge.
We probably have maybe 300 trees here. I started off mainly interested in shohin, but the collection got a lot bigger when we decided to go into Aldridge with larger trees, which makes a more dramatic display in the gardens. You know, I've raised some from seed, some of the shohin trees. I've grown some of them in the ground, some of the shimpakus, imported some of them from Japan. So this collection is kind of a potpourri of things you can do. You know, we have to consider plants that are going to survive in this hot weather. So there's a lot of trees that are not going to work. I've never been able to grow 5-needle pines here, so we don't try. But with Aldridge in mind, we always like to get something that every 2 months we can trade out the collection trees at Aldridge and give people a kind of a new perspective on a variety of trees. Well, we set up the collection at Aldridge and built the education center to make people more interested in bonsai, and it kind of came at a good time because I think COVID made people more introspective, and we got a lot more people interested in bonsai as a hobby. Matt Owinga imported 2 of these trees. I got one of them. I bet one of the largest trident maples in the country. And it's still recovering from its import. I was mostly involved in shohin until Rita wanted to get some larger trees to put in the Aldridge Garden. So some of these shohin black pines, I started from seed. You're really familiar with some of these trees because I think this is one of the ones you helped us with. It's really growing well. We let it grow out a lot so it'll make some roots, but it's kind of time to tip it. You know, I think if you're going to grow roots, you need to grow foliage.
And this one will be ready in, a month, 2.
This is another cocoa food tree that I bought from Kobayashi and imported, and it's just getting back in shape. Some of these own a rock. You know, I think with the lower branches, you have to let it grow out to mature these buds back here. So that's kind of what we're trying to do before we leaf prune it. Because I think if you keep leaf pruning the bottom limbs, they get weaker over time. So that's why you see some of these limbs out of silhouette. This is a tree that we bought from Eisei-en. I didn't know at the time, but it had a pretty significant rotted area in the back. So as you can see, we put cement in here to kind of take care of that because it was continuing to rot and pulling away from the rock. But here again, this is another imported tree that is getting healthy with the lower branches coming out, pulling sap, maturing these immature buds and branches. Now these trees are some of the trees that got hurt by the cold. We hardly ever have cold in the south that we have frozen roots 3 days in a row. And I think that's what hurt it. Usually we can have 20-degree temperature, but it warms up. 20-degree temperature and warms up. This particular freeze was below freezing for 3 consecutive days, or maybe 4 consecutive days, that really hurt these Eisei-en. And I thought the Eisei-en were pretty hardy, and some of them we brought in, but still some of them got hurt by the cold. This is a tree we're importing.
That's Shinji Suzuki's nursery?
Yeah. This tree was a bush when he showed it to me. And he explained what he was going to do with it, you know, because of who he was and what he was talking about doing it. I took a chance and it really worked out pretty good.
Did the final design kind of match what he has indicated it would look like?
Yeah, it's similar, yeah, similar. But one of the problems was, while he was working on it, you know, we had the COVID thing. So it stayed over there a lot longer than we thought it was going to. But this is an interesting tree because we got this tree from Fugiano at Eisei-en, and he told us that it was an air layer off a big collected Shimpaku, and it didn't import well because you remember when it had all of the juvenile growth on it. Well, it's grown out significantly, but it's still got juvenile growth, and this is about the third year of this tree coming out of quarantine. So it's been in the US for 5 years, and it's still not where it should be. So between an air layer, importation, and just basic juvenile growth on Shimpaku, this particular tree has been through quite a lot. As people visit Birmingham and are interested in bonsai, we want to welcome them to walk through the gardens and enjoy the bonsai trees. I think for me, and I think most bonsai people, as they look at trees displayed in a different way in different pots, they get ideas and get creative and get more interested in the art of bonsai.
For more information on the Aldridge Botanical Garden and the bonsai display, as well as opening hours and visiting information, please check out the links in the description down below.